medevacs to happen. So that was the case. Did a lot of waiting to get them out of there. Just lifting to the net, trying to pass information, because we were hearing booms and gunfire, and people want to know what's going down, what's going on in town. So
you can stand here and hear the battle.
Absolutely.
You can also hear the net of what's going on in the battle.
Sure, absolutely.
And you're helping out at the CCP. I mean, were you medical aid yourself? I mean, in terms of IVs or?
Yeah, absolutely. I helped our medic out a little bit. You know, everybody does their CLS training. Everybody's standard to do that. You know your basic first aid. But there was a lot of people there at the time, so I'm more or less saying I wasn't taking main part of it. But if they needed this, they needed to grab that, I would help them out as much as possible.
So beginning to end, ballpark, I mean, how long did this operation last?
Probably 5 hours or so. It's something that was supposed to be easy, done, and over with in an hour, turned into an all-day event.
What kind of temperature day are we talking?
Well over 100. You know, August is prime time for heat. You know, so it was probably over 120 degrees. Besides running around with everything on, so you know, with adrenaline, which definitely helps you out to not think about the heat at the time. Afterwards, you realize, whoa, you know, I'm sweating bad, and you're hurting with the heat.
Yeah. Was there an after-action? I talk about the event, sit down, this is what happened moving forward, or maybe not this one, but for other events like this, did you guys have a rehash?
We always had an AAR, usually with a lot of things we did. Our platoon sergeants tried to break it down as easy as possible for the rest of the platoon. You know, much as they knew, they would tell us too, and they knew that, you know, driving down this road, anything mounted is really going to be not really an option anymore.
Sure.
We're going to have to start walking everywhere.
Right.
So that kind of changed the tides a little bit. Even, unfortunately, it takes a dramatic event like that to learn how to walk in the environment. So,
yeah. How casualties within your platoon or your company throughout the course of the deployment? I mean, certainly not a specific number, but I mean...
we took, as far as troop-wise, we didn't lose a lot. We only had a couple, KIAs, and maybe, 10 or more.
Yeah.
But the
bit left theater for various injuries, yeah.
Right, and brigade-wise, it was probably quadruple the numbers.
Yeah.
You know, a brigade definitely took a lot of casualties over the 15 months, just like a lot of the other brigades have. So it was a lot of casualties across the board.
Yeah, was there any PTSD or any, I guess they would call it shell shock and other wars, guys that, or yourself that had to deal, I mean, I believe everyone deals with it on some level, but in terms of combat effectiveness that were removed from operations, or was it talked about? I mean, where did PTSD fit in to the 15th-month deployment?
Well, like I said, everybody suffered from the psychological events that happened. There's no question about that. Now, as far as combat MOSs, you have a probability of getting higher numbered individuals with these issues, because in day in, day out, you're in the town, you're getting a lot of contact. So, me personally, I struggled as well. You know, you hit that halfway mark, and then you hit that halfway mark in the deployment, and they say you're extending extra 3 months. It's a very demotivating aspect to your tour. And, halfway through...
Let me just ask you to stop you right there.
Sure.
So we explained that. So you went there assuming that it was a 12-month tour.
Sure.
And then at what point did you realize that it was not going to be 12 months?
About halfway through.
Okay.
They said, hey, you're going to have to stay an extra 2 to 3 months. So
Okay.
that was a shocker for all of us,
Yeah.
and a very demotivator. There's only so much the human body can take day in and day out, where enough is enough. And being on the ground and patrolling constantly with a high mission tempo and op tempo, everybody could have used a chiropractor halfway in it. It mentally, which was nice. We let 1 or 2 guys relax during a patrol-based rotation, and they take 3 or 4 days and chill out. And everybody got to do that, which was huge, because you're doing missions 6, 7 days out of the week every week. You need that downtime to cool off. You know, not just physically, but you're not carrying anything. You know, you want to sit down. You want to not look at that environment, not get shot at. You want to relax and lay down. You know, you want to chill. So that helped out psychologically.
What is, in terms of chill, not just specific to you, but in general, I mean, how did guys use that time? Was it sleep? Was it
sleep? My sleep was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
You know, relaxing in an air-conditioned environment is huge at the fob. You know, getting rest, watching a couple shows that kind of come back to reality to a little bit. Yeah, just more or less just relaxing from the high tempo, which had definitely helped out overall, because if they wouldn't have gave us downtime, we would have a lot more trouble. And there was people in the company, people in the squadron that, you know, had a lot of trouble. And towards the end, everybody struggled, you know, myself included, you know, where you get very complacent. You know, you start to you're not on guard as much. You know, you just kind of want to get it over with. You want to count down the days because your body's broken down. You mentally have struggled for so long. You know, you don't want to hear the bangs. You don't want to hear the contact. You don't want to see the violent reaction of IEDs no more, what it does to your friends. That gets old real quick. So everybody has PTSD. It's especially in the combat arms. If you don't, then you aren't seeing nothing, because you will hear this little pop, and you know you better hit the ground. You know, you're taking contact. You don't want to get shot. So it's an ongoing struggle for everybody, and I still stay in contact with a lot of my platoon members, and we're on the same base with a lot of things. And it's definitely an ongoing struggle that's not going to stop, and it's been going on for war after war. You know, you cannot switch from that environment in which in my eyes, you traveled back in time to another world that's you're not used to, and then fly back over and expect everything to be the same. It's just not going to happen, you know. And you're definitely on edge, and you definitely, you know, my whole platoon, everybody had to come back and get the help they needed to adjust.
If you were going into the war in Iraq before you deployed, you felt this way, and then leaving the war, you felt this way?
Well, we didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we had
specific to whether or not we should be there. America is this, or where are we? What should we be doing? I mean, are those?
I mean, that could be political, and that's not, you know, regardless of what I thought. We had an idea. We wanted to go there and do our job, what we were supposed to do, which we thought would be, you know, doing a lot of, you know, infantry-like operations, and it started more or less being presence, you know, almost like a police force more than anything else, making secure the towns and being present and patrolling. It's like a cop would patrol here. And as we did these lot of presence patrols, we would get ambushed all the time. So we were more or less sitting ducks a lot, but we did as much as we could given the orders we had. And I felt personally that we should have been more an offensive, but it wasn't an offensive operation at the time. It was stabilization and security. So we did more or less security work. So that kind of changed my view on, you know, specifically what we were doing as a unit there. We did not expect, and, you know, I'm not saying I wish we would have did something differently, but I don't think anybody expected to drag out as long as it was supposed to be. You know, we made, like, when the surge happened, which definitely, no doubt in my mind, helped out with the assets. The third ID came in and had the construction capabilities, had the reconstruction capabilities. They built up more powerful patrol bases with bigger type of concrete barriers, what made it safe. They were able to secure, having these assets, they can control the areas a lot more. So as we were kind of leaving and they were kind of coming in during the surge, our AO definitely did a 180. We more or less just needed the assets and we didn't have them. So, you know, towards the end, the AO definitely stabilized itself a little better, you know, having these assets come in from the third ID.
But you can certainly see the direction.
Yeah, definitely the direction. Having the manpower,